Happy Sunday, Trailblazers fans. Welcome in to another edition of Blazers Game Day, game 3 of 82 going on in just about 2 hours' time down in Los Angeles as the Trailblazers take on the Los Angeles Clippers down at the brand new fancy Intuit Dome. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation with us today, Chris J. Burkhardt is the name on social. Of course, you can grab your telephone, dial 503-248-0620, or head on over to youtube.com, type in Riv City Radio, and join the chat over there as well. It has been a very, very interesting week for your Portland Trailblazers, to say the least. The game on Friday had so much surrounding it, so much about what was going on with the team off the court as it related to head coach Chauncey Billups. There was obviously the news that was getting out there with the FBI arrest and the involvement in the gambling ring, all that stuff that was going on. The Blazers did release a statement. Billups has been placed on immediate leave, and Tiago Splitter investigation. Billups has been placed on immediate leave, and Tiago Splitter has assumed head coaching duties in the interim. So as acting head coach, Tiago Splitter comes in. He addresses the media prior to the game. Obviously, plenty of questions about the entire situation. Only so much he can say. Basketball was what they were there to take care of. And I mentioned basketball was what they were there to take care of. And I mentioned this after the game that I think all of us, when we have tough times in our lives, whatever's going on that has you down, sometimes work or your passion project, your hobbies, those are the things that can just get you out of that funk, or at least just allow your brain to think about something else for a little bit. Right? I love talking about sports. And every time I'm here in front of the mic and I get to talk about sports, I forget about all the other nonsense that's going on. And that's what Tiago wanted this team to do. And he mentioned that he loved that once the game tipped off, it was just about basketball. Everybody's focus was on that game. And I think if you win the game, you go in there, you shower Tiago Splitter with with water or Gatorade or what have you, and you celebrate, it feels good. As Coach Tiago Splitter said after the game, it was good just to see smiles on their faces. Because for these guys, all that news that happened, it can be a gut punch. It can be a gut punch. And how they react is crucial. Well, they reacted quite well. The Warriors come in, a team that their social media account, the NBC Sports Bay Area account, tweeting after the preseason, when it's just the preseason, but you still own the Blazers. So they're dogging Portland for Golden State's success rate over Portland as of late. And most people remember last season, early in the year, I think it's the opening night, right? Golden State comes in, just boom, blows the doors off Moda Center, and you're left wondering what happened. Well, on Friday, the Blazers had a tall task. They had the Warriors and they had all of the extracurricular stuff weighing on them. And they answered the call. The Warriors got out to a quick 11-4 run. I wrote down in my notes the takeaway from this team early in that game was that they missed Scoot, someone who can just take the ball and run the offense. It's going to be very, very key to this team's success to get someone like him back, someone who can just control the ball, put the offense where it needs to be to succeed. That was my note. But then the Blazers slowly started to storm back. Slowly. It was a bit odd for the first quarter, but it ended 28-28. All right, the vibes are feeling good. But then in the second quarter, the team got hot. Couple threes here, couple threes there, get a couple steals, get out, get in space. Denny Avdia hits a big three to give Portland the 69-56 halftime lead. They outscored the Warriors 41-28 in that second quarter. Denny Avdia, 20 points at the half. Jeremy Grant had 17. So now you go to the third. And you just need the Blazers to not let this one slip away. Now, the Warriors did outscore them, but it was 35-34 in that third quarter. And this was a very, very good result for your Portland Trailblazers, showing that they could weather the storm. They could take the punches and they could punch back. That's exactly what they were doing. And Tumani Kamara goes off. He hits back-to-back threes at one point to make it 97-80. Now the Warriors would answer that. It was 103-91 after three, but in the fourth quarter, it was just much of the same. The offense was churning. The defense was everywhere. Chris Murray looked great, probably one of his better all-around games as a professional. Jeremy Grant was great off the bench. Denny Avdia looked like a star. Everything aligned. The Blazers outscored the Warriors 36-28 in that fourth quarter, and they grab a 139-119 victory, their first victory of the season, the first victory under acting head coach Tiago Splitter, and a victory that, for all that had gone on in the 24 hours prior, a victory that allowed everyone in Rib City to just focus on the good of the team for a minute. And as I said with Chad on the Rib City Drive that day, got to remember that there's a 15-man roster who's going to suit up for that game who has nothing to do with what's going on. And they need your support. They need you in Moda Center cheering, and they need you behind them all the way. And kudos to Rib City, because Rib City was there, and they were ready to go. Now let's take a look at the box score. Let's start out with the Warriors side of things. Jonathan Kuminga had 16 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, 12 points, and 3 rebounds and 5 assists. 7, mind you, that he still exists and he's still really good. 12 of 22 from the floor. 7 of the he still exists and he's still really good. 12 of 22 from the floor. 7 of 14 from beyond the arc. He ended with a game high 35 points. Brandon Pajemski led the way off the bench for the Warriors with 8. On the Blazers side of things, I will not complain, nor will you, nor will the coaching staff, the front office, anyone involved with who works for, likes, or roots for the Blazers when 8 players are in double figures. Great distribution. The offense looked good. You could rely on everyone. That is a good thing. It was led by Denny Avdia, who had 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. He had 3 turnovers, but you know what? His game, sometimes he has a couple of those. He was 11 of 18 overall, 4 of 6 from beyond the arc, much better than the 0 of 6 in the prior game. Love the way he was playing aggressively, getting downhill, doing the things that you expect Denny Avdia to do. Tumani Kamara, he had 19 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. 14 points, 8 boards for Donovan Clingan, 17 points for Shaden Sharp, 12 points, 11 assists. A nice little double-double for Jrue Holiday. On the Blazers bench, Jeremy Grant had 22, another solid performance in that 6th-man role for the Blazers. Forward, Young Hansen played 7 minutes. He had 2 points in this one. His first actual real-life field goal points. It wasn't at the free throw line. A beautiful dunk that had Moda Center absolutely electric. 13 points for Chris Murray. He also had a rebound and assist and a couple of steals. Like I said, it was probably one of his best games all the way around. Matisse Thybulle, 10 points, 2 rebounds, and he had 3 steals. In all, the team had 13 steals. Golden State had 12, but they were able to convert those, have good success defensively, leading to easy buckets on the other end. And that's exactly what you need to do if you're the Trailblazers. Take advantage of those turnovers. They had 19 turnovers in total, and they converted those to 25 points off turnovers. Fast break points, they beat Golden State 30-16, and Golden State is a team that has kind of built its brand on being a fast break team over the years, and the Blazers were able to beat them. They did fail in the second chance points, 17-10 in favor of Golden State, but a big reason the Blazers were able to win this one, they outscored the Golden State Warriors 66-30 in the paint. You love to see that. And a lot of that, it wasn't just what you think of paint scoring, right? Give it down to the big man, have him put up a little hook, or have him get a bucket, get a dunk, Shaq style. No, they were getting out in space. They were getting out in transition, and they were getting easy layups and dunks. Also, some really good passes on those backdoor cuts. All those things led to a productive day in the paint for your Trailblazers. Biggest lead of the night, 25. So very nice to grab a win against a team that has definitely owned you over the last few seasons, if not more. And a good win, all things considered, because it end up that this might be the most important win of the year. With everything going on, you needed something to just wash away the bad taste. And that victory did. Because not only was it a victory, the victory looked good on both sides of the ball against a team that is not who they used to be, but is still a playoff contender. Anytime you are suiting up Steph Curry, you're going to have a chance to turn heads. This is not a team that is like anyone's looking at going, yeah, they're like a fringe play-in team. They're the Golden State Warriors. They got stuff to figure out, but they figure it out. How they use post and how Jimmy Butler gets in that into that, not rotation, but really assimilates into the lineup. Now that he's there for a full year, like all those things will change this Warrior team moving forward. A very good Warrior team that the Blazers were able to get the 139 to 119 victory over. You love to see that. Now, I think the only negative people will be like, well, they scored 119 points. Well, when you're getting out in transition and you're getting buckets, a lot of the times it feels like you're getting them 5 seconds into the shot clock because you're getting out and you're just running. The other team's going to get a lot of shots and a lot of opportunities. Even so, the Warriors had 80 shot attempts. Portland had 93. Big difference there. And then Portland did shoot 16 of 34 from beyond the arc, a much improved mark from the game prior. This is Blazers Game Day. If you want to join the conversation with me, head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, get your chat in there. Or of course, 503-248-0620 is our telephone number. We're going to take a quick little break. And when we return, we are going to head to the coach's corner. We're going to hear from acting head coach Tiago Splitter, hear what he had to say to the media after that game. And it was a good presser. You could hear the relief in his voice. And a couple of things he said really stood out to me. We're going to talk about him here after the break on Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you, getting you ready for Trailblazers versus the Clippers down in Los Angeles. Blazers looking to extend this winning streak to 2. Is that a thing? Let's make it a thing. Also of note, they'll be taking on the Clippers tonight. This is the first of a back-to-back. They'll be taking on the Lakers tomorrow, where our Sean Hyken had retweeted a report coming out of L.A. that Luka dealing with a sprained finger and a contusion, and he will be reevaluated in a week. So the Blazers will likely not have Luka or LeBron James when they face the Lakers tomorrow, and might not have to face those two when they face the Lakers next week. That is going to definitely be something to watch. And I do like this little scheduling thing. Back-to-backs, I don't like them in general. There's a lot of them in the NBA. These guys are top-notch athletes. They get tired. But having a back-to-back where they don't have to get on an airplane and go to another city and then unpack their bags in a new hotel is beneficial. It is beneficial. And the couple teams that the Blazers can beat, the Clippers, do not look great just yet. They got talent there. Don't get me wrong. They got talent. It's just about putting that together. They do go out and they get, boat raced by the Utah Jazz in the opening night. So you don't know what you got. The Lakers without LeBron and Luka, that is not a very deep nor great team. Watch out for DeAndre Ayton revenge, which means, 10 points and 8 rebounds. You know how it goes. But we will see. We will see. But it's time for the Coach's Corner now. I want to head back in time, just a Friday night, here with Coach Tiago Splitter. That is right, unless you missed it. Living under a rock, he is the acting head coach of your Portland Trailblazers. I want to take a listen to what he had to say following the first win of his NBA head coaching career.
Yeah, I think the guys play extremely hard the way we want to play. Against a great team like the Warriors. Of course, they coming from a back-to-back, which we knew, and we tried to even, exaggerate our pace and play fast even after their makes. Just trying to push the whole game with short rotations and play the one we want to play, the way we want to play.
66 to 30 advantage points in the paint. Was getting to the basket part of that? Was the pace part of that ability to get to the basket?
Yeah. I mean, our goal is to get easy baskets. The more the driving layups, cutting layups, and we got that.
How does it feel for you to just lead this team to this victory, especially in context of everything that happened in the last 36 hours and being able to overcome that?
I'm still trying to understand what's going on, but I'm super proud of them, going through all this stuff and go there and perform. In that end of the day, they are the guys that are running and shooting the ball, not us. So I'm impressed.
That being said, was there like a sense of relief once the ball tipped off and you guys could just focus on basketball?
100%. This is what we are. This is our job, and we want to play basketball. We want to talk about basketball. We want to talk about layups, 3-points, step backs, block shots, and etc. So we love to do that, and we believe we have the best job in the world. And we got to go there and do every night.
Were there any guys that had anything to say before the game or at halftime or anything like that with some leadership or wisdom for the rest of the team?
Not yet. I think, I addressed the team after the game and just congratulate them, and they got me all wet, so. Yeah. Just to see their smile, it was very a good sensation.
Was it water or Gatorade?
Very cold water.
Gatorade, though.
Tiago, is there a sense that a win like this, in light of everything you've been through, is there like healing that's involved in that? Kind of helps you guys move forward almost?
I hope so. I hope we move on and like I said, we focus on basketball and how to get this team playing better and consistently. We know we have to get better in many aspects of the game, but effort. I'm telling you guys, we're going to compete every night.
Tiago, how do you manage you've got 80 more of these now. How do you manage the basketball side of it as this
story, whatever you want to call it, kind of progresses through the season? What do you kind of have in mind how you tackle that day in, day out?
Just like I tackle every basketball day in my life. We're gonna get to watch film now. We're gonna travel tomorrow to LA and just go from there, day by day, game by game.
What would your reaction have been 48 hours ago if I would have told you that in 48 hours later you would be getting your first win as an NBA head coach?
Yeah, I didn't expect that for sure, but you know, just like I'm gonna repeat, more than thinking about myself, I'm just happy to see a smile in my player's face.
Tiago, as this season progresses, in what ways will we see this become a reflection of you and your coaching style, more than the plan thing? You talked about the plan you guys came into the year with, but how will this become a Tiago Splitter team?
I don't know. Got to think about that one, and I gotta, watch film and what can we do better and how can we play better offensively, defensively. Probably in 2 months, I got a better answer for you.
What about just you as a guy, in terms of how you want to coach players? Like, what should we expect from you?
Yeah, I like to give them confidence. I like to also demand, play hard. Those are the non-negotiables, but, I keep encouraging them and happy to see the guys playing well and doing their thing and, feeling those moments when they're getting buckets after buckets. I love that.
And there you hear from Coach Tiago Splitter. And I loved that entire post-game interview from him. The things he said, the fact that, seeing them smile, it was a great sensation. That's good. He is focused on those players and making sure they are in the right headspace. And that is the kind of coach I think you need right now. The wins and losses, hopefully you get more wins than losses, but just making sure the thing stays on the rails is just vitally important. And the focus in the right place. It's on basketball and making sure this team is focused. And when he's not talking about how they played, he's talking about how they reacted and seeing the smile on their face. I like that. I absolutely like that. But obviously reiterates that, yeah, we're going to keep getting better and focusing, and he has to try to make it a Tiago Splitter team, which was one of the last questions in that presser. And if they play like they did over the last 2 games, this team is going to win ball games. Let's be completely honest. Defensively, they're locked in. Anthony Edwards was very, very complimentary of the defense. Even after he went off for 40 points and hit a game-winning shot, still was just talking nothing but good things about Tumani Kamara and company. And then Steve Kerr kind of reiterated that too, talking about Tiago Splitter. Here's what Coach Kerr had to say.
Do you think fatigue was a factor?
I'm sorry?
Fatigue tonight. How much do you think that was a factor?
Well, I think the NBA schedule is, everybody deals with whatever comes your way, and there's a lot of difficult, moments in the schedule, whatever. But tonight was not about that. It was about Portland and what they've built and the length and athleticism and the style of play, and they were brilliant. And so, I would be embarrassed to sit here and blame fatigue when a team just came out and just took it to us. So it was about them and their great play, and this city's going to really enjoy watching the Blazers because they play hard and they got a real identity, and they're doing a really good job of kind of rebuilding. The franchise after the long run with Terry and Dame and CJ. I mean, it's been a rough couple of years, but they've used that time wisely and built a really good roster.
What do you think of?
And that was Coach Kerr, and I love that because he wasn't even asked about the Blazers. He was asked if fatigue was a reason they lost. Remember, they were on the second of a back-to-back. No, this isn't about me. It's about Portland and how well they played. 2 games in a row, we've seen that style of play. 1 game, the offense did style of play. 2 games in a row, we've seen that style of play. 1 game, the offense didn't show up as well. They lost. The second game, the offense did show up. They won. But 2 games in a row, the style of play has been there. And a prominent head coach and a very prominent player noticed it both times. I think that's a good thing if you're a Trailblazer fan. And an easy thing if you're a Thiago Splitter, because now you know that people are noticing it and you know the identity you want to build. And hopefully you can imprint just a little bit of your offensive prowess onto that. Because when he was brought in, a lot of people talked about how he's a great offensive mind. Put that together and see what you can do for the rest of the season. All right, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to look at this Clippers team, see what the Blazers have to deal with tonight down at the Intuit Dome, the new fancy Intuit Dome. And then, of course, the Blazers will be on the road again tomorrow, staying in the same city, but taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me on social at Chris J. Burkhardt, and you can join the conversation over at youtube.com. Just type in Rip City Radio. Plenty more coming up after the break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you want to join the conversation, head on over to youtube.com. Type in Riv City Radio, a quick, easy way for you to just join the chat and have some fun here. The chat, let me tell you what, it's definitely in favor of Thiago Splitter. A lot of love for him and mixing it up, changing it up. Shout out to Portland Blazer Fool. Rip City, baby. It is nice. Feels good. Feels good to get the win. Feels good to be optimistic about what's going forward with the on-court product. I've said this before, regardless and not connected to anything that happened with Chauncey, I loved when they brought on Thiago Splitter to the assistant coaching staff. I think he's a great basketball mind, good offensive coach, can be great for the big men. Never expected him to be thrust into the head coaching role 2 games into the season, but here we are. And it looked good on Friday against a very good Golden State team. And it will have to look good again tonight against a Clippers team that has some talent. Definitely do. They're trying to figure out who they're going to be this year, what their identity is. But they still got some absolute dogs on that team. James Harden leading the way right now, averaging 22.5 per game. Kawhi Leonard at 18.5 per game. They also, remember, they have former Blazer legend, because if you played for the Blazers, you're a legend. Derrick Jones Jr., obviously Ivica Zubac. John Collins on that roster now, who came in as part of the John Collins trade. They have Chris Paul, who is not filling up the box sheet, but he's still Chris Paul. He's smart. He assists for days. He's not scored a ton, but they got talent. It's just a matter of putting it all together. Brook Lopez there and figuring the things out. You look at what this team played last year when they played the Blazers. They played 3 times. Portland won the first matchup October 30th, 106-105. They lost game 2, 127-105. And they lost the final matchup of the year, January 16th, the last time these two played, 118-89. The most points scored against the Blazers in those games, it was Norman Powell. He scored 30 points in 2 of those games. And guess what? He's not there anymore. He went to Miami as part of the John Collins trade. So don't have to deal with him getting his Blazer revenge every time you take on the Clippers right now. And it's just a matter of just playing your game. Defensively, I think you can give this team fits. Portland's come out and averaging, again, it's only 2 games in, but they're averaging 8 more points than the Clippers. They're shooting about 2%, less from 3-point range. Free throw range is close enough. Rebounds per game, they're losing that battle by about 3 rebounds per. They're losing the assist battle by about 3 per, but they're winning the steal battle by about 1.5. So defensively, the numbers I think can bear out and really help the Trailblazers in this one. The Clippers are a good shooting team. Defensively, I think Portland's going to be able to get there. So you got to get out there. Play like you did the last 2 games. Make the other team work. And who's going to beat you? Outside of James Harden and Kawhi. Okay, that's saying a lot. Those 2 are all-time greats. But you just got to give them fits all day long. You go back to the season opener, the Clippers lost to the Utah Jazz 129-108, and that was a game where no one really got it going. James Harden had just 15 points. Kawhi had 10. Derrick Jones Jr. had 12. In fact, they were led by Ivica Zubac, who had 19 points and 7 rebounds. And for the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen got off. He had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and Walker Kessler had 22 points as well. So, and Lauri Markkanen is a kind of a Denny Avdia type. He's big. He can shoot well. He doesn't move like Denny Avdia, but you can use Denny to your advantage to take advantage of this Clippers team. Maybe it's a situation where you can get your bigs the ball a little bit. Let DC go to work against Ivica Zubac. Give him a good test. But this is going to be the type of game where you need Shaedon Sharpe to score. You're going to need Drew to be smart with the ball, and you're going to have Toumani Camara hit the shots that you expect him to make. Now, the Clippers did bounce back in their next game against the Phoenix Suns. They won that one. Instead of losing 129-108, they won 129-102 against the Suns that are definitely a new look Suns. Hear this for your starting lineup. Let's see, Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, and Dylan Brooks. Yeah, that's going to instill fear into a lot of lineups when you match up with them. As for the Clippers, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard both had massive bounce back games. James Harden, 8 of 12 from the floor, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. He had 30 points. Kawhi Leonard, he had 27 points. And I think it's of note in that game, Dylan Brooks tried to talk a little game against James Harden, and it resulted in James Harden going off. He hit a couple back-to-back threes to try to shut him up. And Dylan Brooks is a different chirper than Toumani Camara. Toumani Camara, you watch him play, he likes to talk. He likes to talk, but he likes to let his defense get so irritating that you say something, and that's when he says something back. Like, he really likes to let his game do the talking, which I absolutely love. And he's been like that since day one. We watched rookie Toumani Camara to take LeBron James all the way up the court and irritate LeBron. He's going to do that tonight again when he gets James and he gets on Kawhi and however they switch it up. And when I say how they switch it up, it's really, really interesting thus far because you look at that game against Minnesota, those final two possessions, they had Jeremy Grant on Anthony Edwards, then they put Toumani Camara on him. He hit the shot off of both of them. Both of them kind of bid on a little bit of his fake drive, but there wasn't terrible defense. The point I'm making is the way this team is built, they can come at you in a variety of different ways defensively. They can have James Harden guarded by Drew Holiday, and then on the very next drive, they can have him guarded by Toumani Camara. And depending on their substitutions, the very next drive, they could have him guarded by Matisse Thybulle. They have a lot of different ways to attack you and keep you guessing. And Drew Holiday, Toumani Camara, and Matisse Thybulle, who are all league defenders, they all guard in just a slightly different way, slightly different sizes. All these things that are going to make you guess offensively. They're going to make you constantly go, okay, who's on me? How do I do this? What do I need to do to get around this defense? And then continue to make the right play. Because you saw in that game against Golden State, forcing Golden State, a team that doesn't make a ton of mistakes, into making mistakes. Chris Murray came in, played absolutely phenomenal, and was able to get his hands on the basketball in the passing lanes and really frustrate the offense. And if Chris Murray's doing that, the rest of those guys are going to be set up for success as well. So that's what you got to do tonight. Continue to build off the identity that you have made over these last few seasons, and really specifically these last two games where we have seen a very different type of defense. We have been lectured, if you will, about defense for years. In the last two games, that thing really clicked. Absolutely clicked. And the more we see that, the more we can start to truly believe that it wasn't fool's gold over the last two games. I don't think it is. I think they are definitely built for this, and this is how they're going to play all year long. And then all I need is Thiago Splinter to get a little ink on the pad and then stamp his name on it. Make this team play how you want them to play. You already have the groundwork here. Offensively, you can change things. And then defensively, just keep doing what you're doing because it's really good. It's really good. Now, I also want to see the team find ways, and maybe this is a Thiago thing, being a big man. I want to see him find ways to get Donovan Clingan involved offensively to where he builds up a little bit of confidence. The last two games, he's been good defensively. He gets at the rim. He affects shots. I want to be a little more active on the glass. But offensively, for a guy who is quite often, most times, the biggest guy on the floor, he doesn't always play like it. There was quite a few times in that Golden State game where it was either Drew Holiday or Toumani Camara would throw him a lob up at the rim, and he didn't get it. He'd jump up to it, but he would almost try to meet the ball at the rim, and the defense would get there. I want to see Donovan Clingan play like he is 7 foot tall and a monster. I think Shaquille O'Neal. I'm not saying he's Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is arguably the greatest center of all time. But when Shaquille O'Neal jumped up for a lob, you knew the result. It was going down. Dwight Howard was a freak athlete, and Donovan Clingan doesn't have that. But when you threw up a lob to Dwight Howard, you knew what the result was going to be. And there have been centers who are not so athletic, but could still play with a ferocity above the rim. I mean, look at Steven Adams. He would get easy dunks, or at least be smart enough because he could finesse his way around the rim to get those easy layups that led to a monstrous amount of Russell Westbrook triple doubles. Right? So those are the type of things I want to see Donovan Clingan do. Also, this here channel says greatest center since 1992, Chris, not of all time. I said arguably the greatest center of all time. I'd still put him in the combo. Shaquille O'Neal had a run of utter dominance where nobody at that position could stop him. Nobody. And this was a guy I'm just going to go score 30 and 10, despite the fact they send me to the line 35 times and I only convert 10 of them. But the point I'm making still holds firm. When he played above the rim, when you threw an alley-oop to him, you knew the result. There was never, ever a question about how he was going to go up for that type of pass. It was always going to be the result was to dunk it. And I just want to see Donovan Clingan play like that. You specifically don't remember a certain lob in 2000. I used that as an example the other day here because that's the type of way I want Donovan Clingan to play. When Kobe threw that lob, you don't even see Shaq. You could zero in on the rim and not even see Shaq coming, but you knew what the result was going to be. I want Donovan Clingan to play like that. Jump up, get the ball higher than anyone else. Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. I'll be happy if I see that. All right, we're going to take a final break. When we come back, I'm going to hit you with my keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to pick up a victory against the Los Angeles Clippers? Tip off in about an hour and 15 minutes. And Chad Doing is waiting at Studio C because he'll have the Trailblazers pregame show for you coming up right after Blazers game day. Game day, the pregame show, the game itself, postgame, and the fifth quarter, all available right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, time now for my keys to the game. What do your Portland Trailblazers need to do to grab a victory over the Los Angeles Clippers? Well, they don't have Norman Powell, who was the leading scorer in all 3 games. So defensively, continue to do what you've been doing. Find ways to make this team work. Get the ball out of James Harden's hands and Kawhi Leonard's hands whenever possible. Easier said than done, we know. But then just make sure you're filling the passing lanes as well. James Harden is an incredible passer still. Chris Paul is an incredible passer still. So they're going to find ways to get the assist numbers up, and they're going to find ways to continue to get the ball moving, and you got to make it as hard as possible. This is the type of game where you need Tumani and you need Matisse, you need Drew to be on their A game defensively. Secondly, big man, Donovan Clingan, looking at you. Be aggressive on the glass. Win that rebound battle. You look at the victory that Utah had over the Clippers in opening night. They won the rebound battle, and they won it in a big way. It was 45-37. Now, when it wasn't 45-37. It was 46-38. Now, when the Clippers won against the Suns, they flipped that script, and they won the rebound battle. Get those rebounds. Don't let them get second chance points. And that's going to lead into your strength, which has been pushing the tempo, getting out fast, getting the ball into Denny's hands, catching the defense flat-footed. Boom. They're out. You're running past them. They're falling down. Rebound the basketball. Play good defense. And, of course, take care of the ball. Simple. Easier said than done. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. But the music means it's time to go for me, not for you, because don't go anywhere. Because coming up next, across the Trailblazers audio network, Chad Doing has the Trailblazers pregame show. And after that, it's tip-off time, Clippers, Blazers, with our friend Travis Demers on the call. And, of course, after the game, keep it locked in here for the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.